So a group of newly trained teachers have demonstrated against government's policy to have them write license examinations before they are posted. They believe the timing is not right and more orientation needs to be done before processes begin.
Family of the Ghanaian MBA student who has been detained in Ukraine is appealing to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to expedite action on processes leading to his release. The Ghanaian student was detained in Ukraine on July 28, 2018 for allegedly bribing an immigration officer.
Former Executive Director of the Center for Democratic Development, Professor Jima Wedi, has chastised the Electoral Commission for the exorbitant cost of elections in Ghana. Speaking at a Star Ghana CDD forum in Accra, the professor challenged the Electoral Commission to reduce elections expenditure by the year 2020. Now, persons with hearing and speech difficulty can now access health care conveniently, as some health professionals have received training to effectively communicate with them. The Ghana Health Service has provided a sign language proficiency course for some health professionals in various facilities across the Greater Accra region. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Grace Hamwa Sarah. You can send us your comments on our various social media platforms. Let's go to our first story now. A private citizen, James Bomfe, has hauled the states to the Supreme Court over moves to erect a national cathedral. There have been controversy over the move to demolish homes of judges and other public and private property to make way for the project. The National Cathedral will be an interdenominational Christian cathedral in the capital and is part of Ghana's 60th anniversary celebrations. In March 2018, President Akufo-Addo unveiled the design for the cathedral. President Akufo-Addo has appointed a 13-member board of religious leaders to raise funds for and manage the new cathedral. The overall cost has not been revealed. Let's now speak with James Bomfe, who is plaintiff in the National Cathedral suit. Good evening to you. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Sir, what is the motive behind your suit?
What is the
motive behind the suit?
Oh, it's very simple. That we should respect and abide by our constitutional dictates. Our constitution simply says that our nation is a secular state, and that we do not have any particular religion as the nation's religion. In that sense, no religion should be treated above or higher than any other. And for that matter, any action, activity, or act that done which seeks or purports to raise one religion over and above the others amounts to an unconstitutionality, and the state must be stopped immediately from continuing. And that's exactly what we have done over the years and want to do now, particularly in our organization of Hajj activities, and then also the attempt to build a national cathedral to be called the Ghana National Church, or the mother of all churches. It's so unconstitutional in my view, and that's why we have gone to the appropriate forum, the Supreme Court, to seek clarity on the matter. We were expecting that government would respect this as having been served and having actually moved to respond, they would stop from pursuing anything in that regard. Unfortunately, it's been about a year and over, and the government appears unrepentant and determined that at all costs it will flout the rules of natural justice and go ahead, notwithstanding the questions being asked by the Supreme Court. That is why we have gone ahead to now ask the courts to restrain the government from embarking on what we constitute as an illegality.
But Mr. Bonfe, if you, like you said in your example, government puts in efforts to help the Hajj pilgrimage, as well as it's putting in effort to have this national cathedral built. Even at national programs, we make sure that the three major religions in the country, that's Christianity, Islam, and traditionalists, are all given the same opportunity to say prayer. So why would you want to describe this move by government as putting...
Our nation has no place for anything called major religion or higher religion or bigger religion. All religions are supposed to be treated equally before the law. And nobody, no Ghanaian, should suffer an advantage or a disadvantage or benefit an advantage on the basis of their religious affiliation. It amounts to a total unconstitutionality, and that's what we are praying the court to grant.
So your bet is not even about the financial distress it's going to give, because government is only facilitating the project.
It is about the state not having the law or the legal basis to embark on such an activity. And once that is the first step, all the other steps become consequential.
So what is the end game of your suits? At the end of the day,
is very simple.
Yeah.
Respect the religious beliefs of individuals, accord all religions equally, equality before the law. Do not raise anyone above any other, and above all, don't meddle. Don't let the state meddle in purely private matters as religion amounts or counts for.
Thank you very much, sir. We're following this development closely to see how the suit turns out. I have been speaking with James Bonfe, who is plaintiff in the National Cathedral suit. You're still watching News at 10 on TV3. We're back with more stories after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. This is News at 10 on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. In a landmark reform of the state's judicial system, California Governor Jerry Brown signed a bill Tuesday that would eliminate the bail requirement for suspects awaiting trial as an attempt to redress a system that unfairly punishes and often explicitly criminalizes being poor. Other states have taken steps to revamp their bail procedures to make it less discriminatory, but California will be the first state to eliminate it altogether when the law goes into effect in October 2019. That does not, of course, mean every suspect will be eligible for temporary release before trial, but the financial requirements will be lifted such that, in general, those suspected of a crime and eligible for bail will not be forced to stay in jail if they don't have the means to post bail. So here in Ghana, you will recall that in May 2016, the Supreme Court, by a 5-2 decision, struck out Ghana's law on non-bailable offences. The court described the law, which has been in existence for nearly 3 decades, as unconstitutional. Per the ruling, a court that has the jurisdiction to hear cases such as murder, rape, treason, piracy, defilement, among others, has to grant suspects bail. The Supreme Court made a ruling in a case titled Martin Pebu versus Attorney General, filed in February 2015. Let's now speak with lawyer Martin Pebu for his perspective on lessons, if any, Ghana can derive from the California state eliminating bail requirement. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Great.
So when we say bail, what exactly are we talking about?
So that's an order by the court, or sometimes also the police allowing a suspect or an accused person to be released from custody. So it's often in the form of an agreement or an undertaking that the suspect and the sureties that a guarantor will give to the police or to the court. So when we say surety or guarantor, so it means that somebody has to guarantee that when this suspect or accused person is needed any day, that guarantor will produce him. So they sign the agreement, and so that agreement is called the bail bond.
And should every bill have the two components of the surety and the financial requirement, or in some cases we can have one of them?
Or every bill bond in Ghana, I mean, by law, most of them have a financial requirement, but there is also the self-recognizance bill. So that is where the Californian law comes in. Ghana, we don't use much of the self-recognizance bill, that to allow the suspect or accused himself just to go. He should sign that he will come anytime he's needed. We don't use it much, though by law it's provided for. Well, you know, we cannot fault the judicial system as such. It's because of the state of the law. You know, we are just used to doing it, and so we keep on doing it. Because today, for some of the assaults, motor offenses, and the rest, if the person has a verifiable residential address, we could dispense with the bail bond. You see, I mean, the one that has the financial component, as you say, but he himself will sign a self-recognizance bill without a financial component. So how it works is this: let's say if the police grant bail or the judge, he would say, accused is granted bail in the sum of, let's say, 10,000 Ghana cedis. So what this means is that when the guarantor comes to sign the bail bond, that's the post, it means that it's undertaking that in the event that accused is needed for trial and he doesn't show up,
the guarantor will pay the amount.
Yes, and even hitherto, we used to imprison the guarantors, but the Supreme Court struck down that law about 6 months before the non-bailable offenses came. Yes, so it's the Supreme Court has been doing a marvelous job towards expanding personal liberties. Yes.
So this move in California, are there any lessons in there for Ghana?
Yes, yes. So you see that the California regime is now categorized the offenses, okay? Yes, into different, so they are in different categories. So there are those that ordinary motor offenses, ordinary assault, and many others, 31. Then the accused is not required to put the bail bond. No, he himself self-recognizance. You see, in their system, what happens is that there are a lot of, there is a thriving business where the bondsmen, so they are professional bondsmen who come to post the bail bond, and they charge the accused for a fee. So it means that they post, you know, a lot of those bills are cash bills. So the bondsman will deposit it, okay? So on his, that's his obligation. So he charges the accused a fee. He charges the accused a fee. In Ghana, we don't have it properly organized as a business, but there are actually the bondsmen who also charge a fee, but they are not many as such, and they are not well organized. So the main thing we are learning from the Californian reforms is that we can recategorize our offenses for purposes of bail into those that will not require a financial bail bond. You see, so that in other words, for those ones, the accused person can sign a self-recognizance bail. Once, so you take into consideration whether he's employed, whether he has a residential address, whether he's married, he has children. Yes, that is what the Californian system is done. So they will look at all these criteria and then decide that this accused person should just sign self-recognizance so that he doesn't have to incur the expenses of the bondsmen over there. As I said, in Ghana, there are some people who also charge. So they are bondsmen. though they are not properly organized. So in all of this, it just comes back to the point that the Supreme Court cannot keep doing piecemeal reforms. We need to set up a committee to go into these reforms wide-ranging so that we can pass all as a go through acts of parliament. Because the court is overwhelmed with these cases, you know, and it's slow in court. And the court itself has called upon parliament in several decisions that we should, the government actually, you know, parliament, the government has to initiate the laws and present them, the bill.
Then it goes to parliament. Yeah.
So the Attorney General, the Supreme Court is called upon Attorney General to spearhead reforms. And we formed an association, and we've been to the Attorney General a couple of times to remind the Attorney General to have those reforms done. So it's good you've carried this story.
Okay.
Maybe what we can do is that we should have regular updates, you see, then that way it will push the Attorney General to form that committee. Because you know that the issues are many. That is how come even it would have been good if we have the Attorney General's department, the ministry divided into two, so that we have a minister responsible for justice, and that would be his sole responsibility. And then we have the Attorney General. But in its current shape now, it's such a huge ministry. It's a lot of work. So when you go, you know, it's difficult.
Yeah, so Mr. Bobi, thank you very much for joining us. I think that's the point as well, but in the coming days, we'll also make sure we follow the story closely and see what more lessons we can learn from this move. Thank you for joining us. Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner. To some other stories now, economist Dr. Osei Esibe has expressed worry that Ghanaian youth may not benefit from employment in leading global companies such as Volkswagen if industry-specific training is not undertaken. Speaking to Natalie Ford following the announcement of the decision by German car manufacturing giant Volkswagen to establish a vehicle assembling plant in Ghana, he called on stakeholders to immediately identify the skills required by Ghanaian youth to be considered for employment in the leading German automobile company.
Volkswagen, shortened to VW, is a German automaker founded on May 28, 1937, by the German Labour Front under Adolf Hitler and headquartered in Wolfsburg. It is the flagship mark of the Volkswagen Group, the largest automaker by worldwide sales in 2016. Volkswagen has factories in many parts of the world, manufacturing or assembling vehicles for local markets. In addition to plants in Germany, Volkswagen has manufacturing or assembling plants in Mexico, the US, Slovakia, China, India, Indonesia, Russia, Malaysia, Brazil, Argentina, Portugal, Spain, Poland, the Czech Republic, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kenya and South Africa. Ghana will soon add up to this list, as German Chancellor Angela Merkel revealed the popular car maker is set to establish an assembling plant in the country. She made the announcement while addressing a joint press conference with President Akufo-Addo during her one-day visit to Ghana.
And our objective is to support Ghana in making the vision come true that the President has had and has described, and that is to create a Ghana capable of saying that we no longer need to rely on foreign aid to establish a Ghana beyond aid, as he called it. It's not an easy path, but it's exactly the right thing to do.
The German Chancellor noted the assembling plant will also create a considerable number of jobs for Ghanaians in the car manufacturing sector. However, economist Dr. Osei Esibe is of the view Ghanaian youth may not benefit from employment in the leading global automobile company as expected if industry-specific training is not undertaken to equip them.
The skill shortage, and skill deficiencies would then mean that the youth will not be able to take advantage of some of the investment, because some of these investments can be very sophisticated. They may require sophisticated skills, to be able to work along the value chain, and therefore we have to be able to do some kind of need assessment to know, what kind of training is required, to make our youth ready, so that it wouldn't be that they come and they don't get the right set of skills, and they have to go out there to look for people to come and work, and so that will not help.
President Akufo-Addo said the Ghanaian economy welcomes the VW vehicle plant. He has pledged that government will give the investor community of Germany every necessary assistance that they would require.
Family of the Ghanaian MBA student who has been detained in Ukraine is appealing to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to expedite action on processes leading to his release. The Ghanaian student was detained in Ukraine on July 28, 2018 for allegedly bribing an immigration officer.
Ismail Tov Mensah was on a 10-day visit to Ukraine when he was arrested for allegedly bribing an immigration officer.
When he checked in Ishmael's passport, he had a tourist visa that was to last for 2 weeks. So he carrying all those stuffs, he felt he was going to stay, he was going to like overstay. So whilst he was waiting, a different immigration officer approached him and asked him if he had money. And he said, yeah, he had money. And he was like, he was going to assist him if only he's also going to help him. So he helped Ishmael to, pass through the airport and all. And after helping him, in the Ghanaian way, he gave him $200.
He was later arraigned in court, where he was found guilty of bribing and subsequently ordered to be deported back to Ghana. The family says authorities in Ukraine insist they can only release the Ghanaian upon further engagement with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Commending the Minister for Foreign Affairs on her initial action on the matter, the family appealed to the ministry to expedite action to enable Ismail Mensah return home.
After talking to Madam Ayekobuchi, she asked to see us, and one of my elder sisters also went to Foreign Affairs to meet her. And according to my sister, she said the minister assured her that they are working on it and we're going to get good results.
So that's how we end this edition of NEWSAT10 on TV3. My name is Grace Hamwa. Many thanks for joining us. Enjoy your evening.